G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be taking another look at StormOS. So back in April this year I had a look at StormOS which introduced a new maintenance and utilities program. This StormOS is created by Ben Fitzpatrick, maybe a couple others. The maintenance and utilities program's got a lot of things within it to help new users install some of the basic things to get started on a Linux distro. Now this one's based on Arch. Ben has created another spin called StormD, D being for Debian, and this one is based on Debian. Now this one has the same maintenance and utilities program, I believe. And I was checking out Jack Keefer's video and he had an issue with no login. There was no login on startup and there was no prompt to log in. I did contact Ben. I had already downloaded his ISO and I asked him if he wanted to get that sorted before I looked at it. So he's uploaded another ISO which I've downloaded and we're going to take a look at that. So let's check it out. So we have the live grub boot menu here. We can go into the live system failsafe, start installer with speech synthesis, advanced install options and utilities. Let's see what the advanced is. Graphical installer, text installer, graphical installer with dark theme, text installer with dark theme, installer with speech synthesis. Let's escape that and go back. Utilities, UEFI firmware settings. So just the basic stuff there. Let's go to the live system. So here we are in the live desktop of StormD based on Debian, StormOS based on Debian. Not sure if he's going to give it another name or whether it's just going to be called StormD, not really sure. But what we're going to do is an install. Let's do an install. We'll update the system and then we'll check out what's going on. So we've got the Calamares installer. Let's just check out what version it is. 3.2.36. Next. I'm definitely not in New York. So I'm in Perth, Australia. Keyboard is English Australian, set as default. Next. Let's do an erase disk. You can choose your hard drive up here if you've got more than one. Next. And that's the user information entered. Click next. There's the summary of what's going to happen and we'll click install. So I will be back after installation is complete and we'll check out what's going on in the freshly installed desktop. And that is the install complete. Let's do a reboot and check out what's going on in the freshly installed desktop. And here we are at the grub screen after install. Debian GNU Linux, advanced options and system setup. We're just going to choose the default. And we've landed on the login screen. So that's something that wasn't happening before. So that's all working fine in VirtualBox anyway. So let's log into our desktop. It's got a bit of a stormy looking background to it. Hence the name Storm, I suppose. Does seem to take a little bit before everything's loaded. I'm still waiting. I believe there will be a, yes, there it is. A dock at the bottom there. That just took quite a while to load. I wonder if that's a, what do we do? Press Control and right click. About. It is Plank. So Plank's just taken a little while to load on that. So if you hold the Control button and right click, you can get these preferences for Plank. Or like I did, you can get the About as well. So holding the Control button and or the Control key and right click anywhere there, and you can even quit the application if you wish. So I've noticed we've got a couple of Debian icons up here. I'm not sure what they are. Tweak StormD with ease. Application, so that's the whisker menu. Shortcuts to Firefox, Terminal and File Manager. And what's this one? Software Store. Okay. Not sure what this one is. Computer. Let's click on that. Double click. Right click. I think there might be a problem with the icon there, but let's go to settings. So Power Manager. Okay, so it probably needs an icon there, I would say. And calendar. And what's this one here? No new mail. What's that using? Is that Thunderbird? Internet. Oh no, there's no mail client in here by the looks of it. Let's have a quick look at what's installed anyway. Just real quick. Accessories. Let's see if there's anything that jumps out at me. Kvantum Manager for managing themes. And you got your Plank, which we've looked at. Solar, I'm not quite sure what that is. Logitech Unified Receiver Peripherals Manager, okay. Sensor Viewer. StormD System Tool. Okay, Development. Graphics, we've got GIMP installed, Vue Noir and Ristretto. Internet, FileZilla and Firefox ESR. Qubit Torrent. Multimedia, we've got MPV Media Player. Simple Screen Recorder out of the box. VLC Media Player as well. XF Burn. And Office, we have Abbey Word and Genumeric. So just a couple of lightweight Office documents or Office applications there. And then we've got settings, additional drivers. Power Manager, which is the one that we looked at here. So it's missing that icon there for Power Manager by the looks of it. And that's pretty much it, I would say. So we've got the StormD system tool. So we'll have a look at that. And then we've got system. Oh, we've got BleachBit Aptic. That's I believe Aptic. It's still got install system here. That should have gone. That hasn't been removed after the installation. Aptic is a application installer, I believe. Seen that a few times. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe it's something else. Migration utility. Oh, yeah. Oh, so you can back up your installed software sources. So you can back all them up and take them with you to another or another install of this. You can use that and then you can do all the backups and then restore it all. I've never used that before. Not quite sure how it works. I'd have to think you can take it with you to another install. About Aptic Migration Utility. Got Synaptic Package Manager. Okay, so we've got HTOP. Let's have a quick look at that. 545 meg of memory. That's pretty decent. Normally XFCE is running around about 600s these days. And the CPUs are fairly quiet as well. Got the StormD admin tool. Synaptic Package Manager, Software, Task Manager, Users and Groups. Now you don't see that very often on XFCE, I wouldn't have thought. I think that Users and Groups I thought belong in the Cinnamon desktop. Maybe I'm wrong. So let's have a look at the StormD system tool, which was in the menu. Let's check that out. So just like StormOS, it's got a few tabs along the bottom. StormOS had 4, this one's got 5. So you've got games, printers, about StormOS and donations and merchandise links there. Debian University, visit the Debian wiki, visit the Debian website, reserved there. Okay, so first of all, what we want to do is system update. So let's do that. Put in our password. And we must be up to date. You can install list hardware, and it's got this here system info by list hardware. I'm not sure if it's installed. Yeah, it's not installed. So you can install that. And then you can click on that and that should be working. And there we go, there's all your system hardware. It's full screen that. Won't be much to see. Not much to see there, it's a virtual box. So let's have a quick look at what we've got here. It's pretty much, a lot of it's the same as what's on the Arch Spin. Maybe some slight differences. I cannot remember exactly what the Arch one had. Tab 2, you've got, so this one's game related utilities, install Steam, install Lutris Launcher, install Wine Staging. Yeah, you've got install Thunderbird, install only Office, install LibreOffice, Cups printers. You got your logout, system info by list hardware we've looked at, system resources via top, update utility program, add remove software, which is probably the Gnome software would link to, I'd have to think. And you can exit this as well. So it didn't open anything, add remove hardware. Add remove hardware. It's not linking to anything. Okay, Gnome software has opened up and that took a long time. Failed to install, not supported. I'm not quite sure what that means. About software is GNOME 3.38.1 software. So that took forever. There's probably another instance that's going to open up as well. Not sure why that took such a long time. User local bin sysconfig. So that button is opening GNOME software. So if we was to copy that and put it in the terminal and see how long that takes to open up. That was pretty instant. Failed to install, not supported. I don't know what that error is all about. Let's have a look at the GNOME software now that it's open. So it's definitely calling the right command, but it just took forever to open. Maybe it quite possibly could have been populating Flatpaks maybe. We'll see if these are Flatpaks or not. So yeah, flat hub. And then you got the Debian repos as well. So possibly that may have been installing, I don't know if it was no, it wasn't installing it, but it must have been populating in the background the FlatHub applications as well. Maybe that's why it took a long time to open. So that must have been a first run. So we'll try that again and see if that works again. Where was that one? Oh, that's add remove software. So, okay, so now it's very instant. So I would have to think it was probably more than likely opening it was populating all FlatHub stuff. So we've got additional drivers here. I'm not sure what that is all about. Yeah, a lot of people are putting this additional drivers in now. Doesn't really do much though, really, to be honest, additional drivers. It's just developer options. So I notice Qubit torrent is already installed under internet. So I'm not really sure why there's a install Qubit torrent button there if it's already installed. Got a weather app up the top here. I'm definitely not in Louisville, Kentucky. Let's just see if that works anyway. What can we do with this? Properties. Change. Let's search for Perth. Search. City of Perth, Western Australia. There we go. There's a lot of Perths in the world anyway. Okay. Latitude, longitude, units, Fahrenheit, no thanks, Celsius. Miles per hour, kilometers per hour, inches, millimeters, or maybe centimeters. No centimeters. Feet, meters. There we go. And close. 13 degrees at the moment. There we go. Morning, afternoon. Oh, 20 degrees. Very nice. Looking forward to that. Check out Firefox ESR. See what version that is. Probably 91 or somewhere around there. 91.13. Yep. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to arc up StormOS, and we're going to just check whether these system utilities are the same, and just check them in comparison between the Debian and the Arch one, and see what the differences are. I don't think there's a lot of differences anyway. So let's start up StormOS. So we've got the StormOS system tool, which is the same one. Now, unfortunately, it won't let me resize. It doesn't let me resize. So in Arch, you've got, we need to do it on the first one, isn't it? System updates or refresh mirrors in Arch, which you need to do. And system updates, AUR. So we've got install TeamViewer here. This is on the first tab. Arch keyring, so install TeamViewer, so that's where that starts. So there's a few more things to be done in Arch than what there is in Debian. And then we've got the install list hardware, LSHW. Then you got the decode DIMMs. There's an enabled trackpad on here. Laptop section. Install NVIDIA. Yep, you've got install NVIDIA here, memory reader 2, list hardware for system info, memory reader, block detail info, blank your screen, doesn't have a blank screen on here. So the only differences is the way in which Arch and Debian work different to each other, and as opposed to updates and mirrors and all that thing. Although there's no laptop option in Arch. Enable trackpad, tap to click, and enable power management. Now whether that comes default in Arch, there may be a difference between that and Debian. I'm not quite sure. So we've got games here. So install Steam Native, install Steam, install Lutris, but this one's got install Heroic Launcher. Not quite sure what that is. I'm not a huge gamer. Install Proton, install Wine Staging. There's more options as far as gaming's concerned in installing a lot of other things within Arch, whereas there's not as many under the Debian utility. So we've got install GNOME Calculator, same over here. Install Flameshot, no qubit torrent in here. Install Thunderbird, install Office, no Office here. Launch Replace All File Directory menu. So that's the same. So we've got a couple of Office things here which we don't have under the Arch one. Cups printers are pretty much the same, except, yep, they're the same. And then About Us, GoFundMe, Patreon, merchandise, DistroWatch, and links to various sites in relation to StormOS, and also StormFishOS, same here. Now if we have a look at the Arch one, that's pretty much it, but here we have the Debian University, which is some links that take you to a couple of Debian sites, the Debian website, and also the Debian wiki. So there we have the differences between StormD and StormOS. Just thought I'd try and capture those two at their normal window size so we could see the whole lot in one go. So I'm just going to click through these tabs and just pause a little bit between each one, and you can just compare the two. Okay, so just to quickly recap on some of the things that are installed on StormD, Debian based. You've got your user settings, you can manage groups and so forth in here. You've got that. You've got this Solar, select a device. Let's have a look about Solar. Show status of devices connected through wireless Logitech receivers. So obviously that's not going to show anything because I'm on VirtualBox. You've got Sensors Viewer, tachometers, Celsius and Fahrenheit. Once again, VirtualBox, it's not going to show much. Kvantum Theme Manager, if you want to tweak some themes with that, you've got the option there. HB devices, if you want to install some HD devices, obviously there's nothing found. You've got GNOME disks to help you out with sorting disks out. If you need it, you must be careful using that application. You can delete things that you really don't want to delete. So just make sure you know what disk you're working with and stay away from your installed disk. You got BleachBit, and you also got a BleachBit as root. You got Synaptic Package Manager if you want to install applications from there instead of using Gnome Software. You won't find Flatpaks in Synaptic. You'll only find them in the Gnome Software. Then you got the Aptic Migration option here for backing up directories, users and groups, themes and icons, installed software. Quite a handy little application, that I must say. The Gnome Software for installing software from Debian repositories or Flatpak. And then you've got the StormD Utilities program. So Ben's got a slightly themed XFCE desktop. So if we go to settings, let's have a look what he's using. Settings manager, appearance. He's got art black that he's using, icons, obsidian grey, fonts. Well, I don't really take a lot of notice of fonts, I must say. I'm a very ignorant fonts user. And you got some settings there. So if we were to open Kvantum, I'm not sure if he's done anything with Kvantum Manager. Application themes, change or delete themes. I don't use this much, to be honest. I don't think it's in use at the moment. It's definitely using Art Black. We also got Window Manager tweaks as well. No, maybe the wrong one. Window Manager, and then you've got that one there. That's the one, Window Manager and Appearance. So Window Manager is Arc Black. The style is Arc Black. So if you change the style, that changes all of that. The Arc Black and the Arc Dark Slate changes the top here, I believe. Yeah, you might get some weird anomalies now that we've changed to like GTK4, and I'm not sure what they're using on XFCE, maybe still GTK3, but nothing seems to be changing here. So it's mainly only changing here. Anyway, the theme's not too bad out of the box, I must say. And you got your HP up here, status service up here anyway. So you've got quick links to that. And there is a HP fax as well in here. Fax utility toolbox, address book for the fax. Anyone use fax these days? I don't know if faxes are used as much as what they used to. So that was StormD, based on Debian, and I just thought I'd keep the utility programs there so you can check them out. The Debian one's version 4, the StormOS one here is actually version 3. So I'm not sure whether, just in closing, let's just do an update utility and see what happens to that. Maybe I need to update the utility itself to bring it up to 4. Now I've done the update, still version 3, so there must be a difference between what's running on Debian as opposed to what's running on Arch. So I noticed out of the box he had a few more things installed under Internet, Telegram, Thunderbird and Zoom on the Arch base than what he did on the Debian. So I don't believe it's finished yet. It's still a work in progress, so that may change. So also StormOS has this menu X, which is to do with a lot of Arch things, you know, update mirrors and yay and all that sort of stuff. So that's got that option there as well. So yes, there's some slight differences. Don't forget StormD, I believe, is not up on the website yet, I don't think. I haven't checked. Ben's just given me a link to download the ISO to try it out. It's still a work in progress, so some of those things may change. If things weren't working correctly, then that may change as well. One of the things that was outstanding was the opening of Gnome Software was quite a long time, and also Plank starting up took quite a while as well on startup. So they're the two main things I noticed. Otherwise, everything seems to be working as you would expect for an XFCE desktop. Some slight differences, like I said, with the applications installed. Probably a little bit more installed on Arch than what there is on Debian. And I suppose the difference in those applications would probably be that in Arch, it's easier to get the latest applications, whether it be through the AUR or just the Pacman repos. In Debian, they're probably going to be older applications, so I suppose it's up to you whether you want to install it through Synaptic and use an older application, or you can go for Flatpak and get the most up-to-date. So I suppose there's a big difference between Arch and Debian in what you're choosing. Arch is pretty much, if you're choosing from Pacman repos or AUR, you're still going to be pretty much up-to-date software, mostly. So I suppose I can see the differences there. Now, like I said, it's a work in progress. He may be changing and adding some things there, but you're probably better off just to leave it to the user to decide what they want to use through Flatpak, because there's plenty of options in Flatpak these days. Users might even want to install Snap if they want. I'm assuming it's Debian, so it should be using systemd. So I suppose if you liked what you've seen with StormOS, but you weren't keen on the fact that it was based on Arch, Now there's a Debian version, probably not out yet, but if you're keen on it, I would imagine it won't be too far away. I'm not going to give any timeline for that. Obviously, Ben's working on it. I suppose the standout on both, to be consistent when it comes to helping out people on either one, whether it be Debian or Arch, is the StormD utility program. So that's the standout there. It's got some helpful links to get new users up and running so they don't have to think about how to do things. It's self-explanatory on the buttons as well, which is quite helpful for new users to know what they're clicking and what they're installing. We'll just have a quick look at the website, see what's going on here. We've got the StormOS, we've got files here, 2022, and that's just StormOS, KDE and XFCE. StormOS is a beginner-friendly distribution based on Arch Linux. So there are, like I said, in the StormOS video, there are a few people working on this. Ben Fitzpatrick is the one who asked me to check it out. So as you can see, there's no mention of StormD on the SourceForge website. Whether it's going to be included on this website or it may have its own SourceForge page, that's a possibility. So we'll just quickly check out desktop settings. There's no wallpaper there. Backgrounds. And there's your background options there. And quite a few stunning backgrounds, I must say. So that was a look at StormD, StormOS based on Debian. Hope you enjoyed the video, hope you found it interesting and informative, and thanks for watching.